Speedway Report is a production of ZTV. Welcome, everybody, to Speedway Report. It is Monday, July the 13th, 2020. Lots of contact this weekend on and off the track. The NHRA returns without one of their major teams, and we remember racers gone too soon. We've got all this and more coming up. As I said, welcome to Speedway Report. It is Monday, July 13th, 2020. From the shores of Lake Norman in Race City, USA, Mooresville, North Carolina, I'm Patrick Reynolds, and thank you for joining the fastest half hour in racing. We've got some new equipment that we've been working on. We keep plugging away here behind the scenes to make the show that much better for you. Thanks to all of you that joined. Feel free to join in on the conversation if you're watching us live on Facebook or wherever you're catching the podcast through social media. We'll jump over to Speedway Report's Victory Lane Lap, and for the first time, well, I wouldn't say the first time, but we're coming around to more and more news, stories, actual cars on the track type of news to talk about. The season has been full of racing activity off the track in one form or another. We get more and more stuff, cars on track, engines getting hot, drivers too, tires getting burned along with fuel. We're getting there, we're getting there, we're getting there. Hang in there, keep going. I'm excited for the upcoming weekend. Let's look at the weekend that just passed. NASCAR Cup Series raced yesterday afternoon in Kentucky, and Cole Custer, in a surprise with Stewart Haas Racing, gets his first career Cup Series win. NASCAR's Xfinity Series held a doubleheader over the weekend. Didn't matter to Austin Cindric as he won both of those series races. And the Truck Series race at Kentucky was won by Sheldon Creed in a rain-shortened race. IndyCar ran a doubleheader at Road America, Wisconsin. Saturday, Scott Dixon won the feature as he went 3 for 3 to open the IndyCar Series. That's where his streak ended, as race number 4 for IndyCar went to, well, still another Ganassi guy. Felix Rosenqvist scored his first career IndyCar Series win. What does Chip do? He likes winners. Well, he likes it because he's yet to lose an IndyCar race this season. In Formula One yesterday morning in Austria, over my bacon, my eggs, my spinach omelet, and my black coffee, I watched Lewis Hamilton won the Austrian Grand Prix. NHRA was back in action at Indianapolis Raceway Park. How long has it been since we've had NHRA results on this show? March, I believe, before even there was jokes about a lockdown, but not really any of me taking it seriously, but I think that's the last time. It's been a while since I reported on drag racing. And Top Fuel, Billy Torrance won the final round. And Funny Car, Matt Hagan, old muscles himself, was the winner. Jason Line took the checkered flag in Pro Stock. And in Pro Stock Motorcycle, Ryan Ayler scores his first career national victory. That could have been the theme for first career national victories, with Felix Rosenqvist, Cole Custer, and Ryan Ayler all scoring wins over the weekend. You gotta love first-timers. Lucas Oil Late Models were in Union, Kentucky on Friday night, and Earl Pearson Jr. won over Chris Rice in the closest finish in series history. 0.02 of a second was the victory margin on Friday night in Kentucky. Saturday night's race is rained out, and right now, if you are anywhere near Batavia, Ohio, right after our show, not now, but right after a show, head on over to the dirt track there because the Lucas Oil Late Models have a Monday night special. They'd love to see you in the grandstands. If they're even allowing it. I should have checked on that. I didn't even think about that. I don't know if fans are going or not. Look at the dirt track in Batavia and, well, let me know. World of Outlaw Late Models were in the Great White North up in Seymour, Wisconsin. And Brandon Shepard got out the broom as he swept Friday and Saturday nights. A Maine's World of Outlaw Sprints were in West Burlington, Iowa on Friday night. Parker Price Miller scored the upset win in the A-Main. Saturday night in Wilmot, Wisconsin, Connecticut native David Gravel took the checkered flag. And last night in Terre Haute, Indiana, Logan Schuchart found his way to victory lane. ARCA also had a race in Kentucky. Joe's grandson, Ty, got the win there. And the USAC Sprints ran a doubleheader, no wings in Knoxville, Iowa on Friday night. Tyler Courtney popped the champagne, and Saturday night, little bacon bits. Brady Bacon was your winner. In Grandview, Pennsylvania, Dylan Swinehart won the small block modified feature race at 30 laps. And I'd love to get you some news from the Madhouse at Bowman Gray Stadium. Municipality owned, so you know they're going to do whatever our governor and the capital say. We're pretty much stuck for at least another week. Questionable as to whether Bowman Gray Stadium will have any kind of a racing season at all in 2020. Let's talk about what happened off the track now. Well, off the track reflected what was on the track. Let's get to some fisticuffs between Harrison Burton and Noah Gragson. This was after the Xfinity race on Saturday night. I think it was Saturday. Pretty sure it was Saturday night. Anyway, and I got a chance. I've talked to both of these guys, Harrison and Noah, and it seems like Gragson has got a little bit of a streak going in 2020 where a different guy has been mad at him every single week. Gragson has been aggressive on the throttle. Some of the moves he's pulled, sorry, bud, you're at fault. Not all of them, though. Some of them have just been aggressive. He's in good equipment. He drives for Dale Jr., and this was a situation after the race. These two guys are in the garage area. Crewmen surrounded them naturally, but they get real close and they're yelling. You can't really see what's going on, especially Harrison Burton. He's got a face mask on, so we can't even read lips on the guy. But Harrison was the first guy who reached out, gave Noah a little shove on the shoulder. Soon as contact is made, and I talked about this with Cole Custer last year, soon as contact is made, game on. You want to yell, you want to swear, you want to scream all you want, that's one thing. Soon as you touch another guy, it's on. Gragson wound up, took a hit. I think, kind of caught Burton in the back of the head a little bit from a bob and weave there. Didn't make full contact, but it was not the pull, grab, shove, fall to the ground, crewmen all have a scrum. It was actually some fisticuffs, which it wasn't a fight, and I don't know if the crewman kind of stayed out of it, it would settle itself pretty fast. However, being a former crew guy myself, I know what that is. You back up your driver. Everybody's right there around their driver. It's impossible, really, for two guys to get together and just duke it out. You've got an entire team. They're going to follow you. They're going to be around you no matter what. That's how it is in racing, even on your local short tracks today. So it's tough for two guys to just duke it out. I'm not in favor of fighting, but I don't like using cars as weapons. I'd rather they do it like that in the garage area than start hitting each other on the track in cars that they don't have to fix themselves and they don't have to pay for. Okay, let's talk about some more crashing. In Formula One, I'm a Ferrari fan. I like Ferrari. But I had to roll my eyes, facepalm, and chuckle a little bit with the crash of Charles Leclerc and Sebastian Vettel on lap 1 of the Austrian Grand Prix. Clearly Leclerc's fault. He did take blame for it. He dove in there going uphill on that sharp right-hander, hopped the curve, got his car up in the air, landed on top of Vettel's, bounced off, damage to both, put them both in the garage. I think both cars ran a total of 4 laps, possibly 3 of the potential 142 combined. The Ferraris have done a lot of development work in between the last race in Austria and this week. They needed the race to tell if they were going in the right direction. They are lacking speed. They have no pace for the Mercedes or the Red Bulls right now, and they did a lot of work on those cars, and they needed this race to tell what they had done. You could have A to B comparison with the same track in similar weather conditions. This was actually a grand opportunity for a wonderful test for the Ferraris. Leclerc thought otherwise and decided to win the race on the opening lap. Did not go so well, as I was impressed last year very much by Leclerc's effort, by his driving. He did an outstanding job. Really made a rookie mistake this past Sunday morning here on the East Coast. Vettel, quite poised, stood his ground, did not bash his teammate, but he did. I don't think he had to. He knew the situation. He talked about it. It's just how it is. It sucked. It shouldn't have happened. But man, I don't really want to be Leclerc right now for what's going on with Ferrari when the two of them crash out like that. Am I the only one that has like a guilty pleasure of watching teammates crash? Am I the only one? I don't root for it, but when it does, it's something just dastardly inside me that kind of chuckles a little bit at it. We've seen it, over the years. We've seen Andretti cars do it in IndyCar. We saw the Hendrick guys do it. There was the famous one. I think it was Bodine, or was it Rudd in the 5? Bodine in the 5, Schrader in the 25 at Martinsville. And then there was one of my favorites is the two Red Bulls crashing at Michigan. I think it was Scott Speed and Casey Mears, and they were going side by side for about 35th on the field. That's one of my faves. I don't know. Guilty little pleasure of mine watching teammates wreck. I kind of chuckle at it in a dastardly way. Sorry, but I do. Heck of a ride once again by Alex Albon in the Red Bull at Austria. He got around Sergio Perez late in the going. Perez had a wounded bird, was trying to limp it home. Albon did a great job, but he admitted he thought about, as he passed Perez, the same move that he pulled on Lewis Hamilton the week before, and Albon wound up in the speedy dry out in the sand trap. This week it wound up well with Albon getting a nice fourth place finish. We told you about Perez. You need to watch the last couple of laps of the race. If you didn't see the race, you missed it dandy. If you haven't seen the race, queue up the last two laps, particularly if you can get the in-car from Lando Norris. In Formula One, you guys are all aware of how difficult it is to pass, make up positions under green. Lando Norris came from 8th to 5th in the last two laps, got around the wounded car of Perez, and had a great battle with Lance Stroll and Daniel Ricciardo as they came to the line. Perez, Stroll, and Ricciardo wound up being 3 wide as Lando Norris was ahead in 5th place. Fantastic end to the Austrian. Two good races to me. There was some critics of it. I dug it. It was good to me. It was probably, again, one of the better races of the weekend. Far better than the NASCAR stuff at Kentucky. Yeah, they were 4 wide in the Cup race on the final lap. Great move, great lap. Not a good race. Single file, aero downforce track. I want to talk a little bit about this show and a guest we had on here a few years ago. No, I don't remember. It was before the Motor Week Live to Speedway Report title and branding changeover. I don't really recall exactly when it was, but I was at the pool in the neighborhood where I lived, and I'm in the water, and just chatting with people because I'm kind of sociable and I like to talk to strangers. It's a hobby of mine. And chatting with this woman at the pool, and she heard about the radio show, and she said, "Oh, I'd love for you to have my son on." I said, "Oh, that's great. Where do you guys live?" And she told me, just down the hill, down the road type of thing. There's a group of developments here that are on the same couple of pools. So she was technically not next door neighbor, but a neighbor in the community. She said, "You should have my son on your show." I said, "He's doing a good job coming up through the ranks. I think he's got something." I said, "Okay, good. Who's your son?" She said, "Cole Custer." I'm proud to say Custer was a guest right on our airwaves here several years ago. We'd have to dig through the archives of Motor Week Live, possibly, or Speedway Report. I'm not sure what it was, but it was pretty neat to have Cole call into the show. We talked to him several years ago. I don't think he had even begun the Xfinity series yet, but he was coming up through possibly ARCA in trucks, maybe some short track racing at the time. But you got to love a first-time winner. I do. I'm a big fan of them, and pretty cool to have Cole Custer win for Stewart Haas Racing. I think as we tape this show live on Monday evening East Coast time, it's about 7:45, and I think Will Power just hit the last thing in Wisconsin on his way out of town. Indy 500 winner, championship driver, one of the best there ever is in Penske and IndyCar. But man, that guy was I don't want to say he was on fire, because in auto racing we take that in a literal term, but dang, I don't think there's anything Will Power didn't hit. It's that old Days of Thunder line that we all laugh and quote. "Go hit the pace car, Cole. Go hit the pace car." Why? It's the only thing you haven't hit, and I want you to be perfect. But Will Power had a very, very rough day at Road America. I'm sure he'll bounce back just fine in Iowa in a few weeks. Great driver, championship driver, but man, when it is not your day, it is not your day. Great to have the NHRA back on track this weekend. Loved it. Conspicuously absent and announced that they wouldn't go would be all of John Force Racing. His sponsors wish to be as an ad campaign and a promotional campaign. Don't want to do any onesie-twosie stuff of where we're racing, where we're not. And as the NHRA went to Indianapolis, so many tickets were allowed to be sold. If they reached a certain number of tickets, the track could pay out a certain number of money. Basically, the NHRA raced at Indianapolis Raceway Park with no guaranteed payout for purse money. John Force didn't have that. Wasn't having any of that. Any JFR did not attend anything at Indianapolis Raceway Park. They are going to run again this coming weekend, the Summer Nationals at Indianapolis. I do not know John Force's racing's status for this coming weekend's race. That was the deal. No guaranteed purse, and John Force Racing did not load up, did not attend. I'm hoping they come back, because JFR is one of the most personable characters, and he brings a lot of iron with him to each and every NHRA event. I'm excited for this new series coming up, a startup program by Ray Everham, Tony Stewart, and George Pine as three of the principals, board members and founders of this new series. It will be similar to the IROC series that Ray Everham ran for so many years, but we're going to do it on short tracks. We're going to do them on grassroots short tracks. Will be a mixture of paved and dirt. I don't know what kind of cars they're actually going to use, but they will be of the short track variety. I don't know if we're looking at a late model style, a modified, a sprint car, I don't know. But we will have 12 cars identically prepared, 12 drivers, and 12 crew chiefs that are all randomly chosen. I think we're going to draw out of a hat to see who gets who. It will take place in the summer of 2021. A short track Saturday night IROC style series broadcast on CBS. This is going to appeal to a lot of the short track auto racing fans that once followed the National NASCAR series but have been so alienated by the upper levels of NASCAR over the years that they've dropped out, as we know, the past 15 years, where there was no stopping NASCAR National as we kept building grandstands and we could not sell tickets enough. Eventually, they're ripping grandstands out, which just shocks me as to how far we've actually fallen. This idea could really appeal to the short track fan that no longer has an interest in NASCAR. NASCAR, which is turning more and more like into an IROC series, but if you get some drivers, some new up-and-comers, some new young guns, as well as some older, possibly retired guys out in the short tracks, both dirt and pavement. This sounds like a decent idea that I will let's try it. Let's see what we got, as opposed to the NASCAR National Series ideas where everything was supposed to be rainbows and kitty cats, and everybody says, well, how are you going to why are you bashing it when you've never even tried it? Well, we tried the Chase in 2004, and here we are in 2020. It sucked in 04. It sucks in 2020. How many years are we gonna try it? So I'll at least give Ray Everham and Tony Stewart's new series a try and see if it's something good. Keep an eye on NASCAR this week. Enough rumors have been circulating, and I'll report them as rumors. I don't know what the story is here, but there's a whole lot going on as far as the Texas Motor Speedway, the potential for their race weekend to be pulled with a spike of coronavirus cases in Texas. There is enough rumor to at least report this, that it's possible that the NASCAR weekend, this coming up in Texas, I would say is at least threatened or in flux. And in flux is not exactly my words, but I think it's from Eddie Gossage. But did I just say, well, let's see what happens with the IROC series? Yeah, keep an eye about the Texas race this weekend for NASCAR for the National Series. It may be in jeopardy, and that is just a rumor. We're going to end tonight or finish out the show on a somber note. Langley Speedway in Virginia had a death on Saturday night. Shawn Balluzzo, 11-time champion, was fatally injured at a race there Saturday night. A strong short tracker, one of the guys that never made it to the National Touring Series. Don't know if he ever wanted to, but was an absolute superstar on the short tracks in Langley Speedway. He leaves behind his wife Terry and 3 children, and our prayers certainly go out to his family. And the date is July 13th. We remember this date in our world in NASCAR back in 1993. Very memorable date for me, as today is also my son Shawn's birthday. He turns 27 years old today. If you do the math right, yep, he entered the world on July 13th in 1993. The same day, July 13th, 1993, that sadly we lost Davey Allison, as he was in a helicopter crash, I believe, on July 11th. He laid awake but injured in a hospital for a few days before finally passing away July 13th. One of the guys just in racing, this is one of those names that we wonder, how many races would he have won? How many championships would he have won? What would the career look like? Where would he have wound up? I think in 1992, he was so beat up and so injured, yet he reached an amazing peak of on-track performance in 92. What he would have done in the coming years, staying healthy and with Robert Yates Racing, there's just no telling. But there was something special that we all would have seen, just a life cut short, way too short, and I think the best was still out in front of Davey Allison with race wins, with family, and what he was going to give to that Allison legacy. So happy birthday to my son. I'll always remember that. And peace and prayers to the Allison family. We're going to talk about the Racer of the Week that we give to every week, honoring Motor Week Illustrated and Dave Despain. I thought first about Lando Norris, about that amazing drive that he had in the late stages of the Formula One race. I thought about Brandon Shepherd, how he swept his dirt races this weekend. I thought of a tougher sweep, Austin Cindric. Debatable how tough each one is, but he swept the Xfinity races. They were all in the running. But I thought, let's give it to a racer who really deserves it even more so. Shawn Balluzzo, your memory, your honor for everything that you did at Langley Speedway. 11 championships. Rest in peace. We'll give Shawn Balluzzo our Speedway Report Racer of the Week award. Excuse me. Hey, everybody, in between our broadcasts, keep up on the world of racing with SpeedwayReport.com. All of our archived shows are there if you want to catch up. If you're on a road trip, you want to download something, we've got lots of shows that talk about things from weeks past. Connect with me on social media on Speedway Report with Patrick Reynolds on the Facebook page or on Facebook at Racers Reunion. On Twitter, I'm at Speedway Report and at Speedway Pat, and our shows are archived on Racers Reunion in the forum. Big thanks to everyone on the Facebook Live feed for joining the conversation during the show tonight. I want to thank all of the military past and present for the freedoms we enjoy as Americans in our daily life, including the simple things like bench racing right here on a Monday night. Freedom is not free, and a veteran paid that bill for us. To all of the men and women who are defending freedom and watching Speedway Report, you take care of yourselves and come home soon. A special salute to the teachers, school staff, firefighters, police officers, and paramedics in our own communities. They are quiet and modest heroes every single day. God bless, and thank you. You have been watching Speedway Report from the shores of Lake Norman in Race City, USA, Mooresville, North Carolina. Please like our Facebook page, Speedway Report with Patrick Reynolds, and follow me on Twitter at Speedway Pat. Now, on the Drag Racing List Facebook page, Drag List Live is coming up at the top of the hour. Bill Pratt and John Bockelman will probably talk about Indy a little bit. I hope so. But if you're on Facebook right now, head on over to the Drag Racing List page. I'll be back here on Monday, July the 20th. We will have the latest from Sebring, Texas, maybe, short track racing, and a whole lot more. Thanks for watching. You take care of yourselves and take care of each other. I'll see y'all next week.